So welcome everybody today to the sixth and final session of the social emotional learning series that PESB has been putting on. So welcome, and we're excited that you are here for our final session. Tonight we will be covering self-efficacy and social engagement / community, activating my superpower in sustaining a healthy ecosystem. And so we've got some PESB staff here. My name is Mackenzie Dyer. I'm a program associate at PESB, and I'm joined by my colleagues Leonie Sherwin, Projecta Deshmukh, and Matt Dressen. And we're also joined by our presenters, Dr. Marisa Windmill and Sulan Hukano. So welcome everybody. We have a couple things to, logistic things to talk about, and then we will jump right in. So tonight we will be using the question and answer feature in Zoom. So if you have any questions or if you have any questions, please put them in the question and answer box, and we will address those at the end of the session. PESB will be providing clock hour information and answer questions about clock hours at the end of the session today. So if you have any questions about clock hours, please save those for the end, and we will we'll address those after our professional learning tonight. Please do not put your name and email in the Q&A or chat. With so many educators on our webinar tonight, it really clogs it up when everybody puts their name and their email in there. So rather, your attendance for clock hours will be recorded based on your Zoom registration. More information will be provided at the end of our session today, but Zoom is automatically recording your name and email for your attendance. And this session is being recorded, so we wanted to let you know, and it will be available later to watch again. Thanks. A little bit about PESB before we get started. PESB is the Professional Educator Standards Board, and we are one state agency with two boards. So we oversee Washington's workforce so that it is composed of equity-minded professional educators to meet the diverse needs of our students in schools and communities. So we have the Professional Educator Standards Board that oversees teacher education, as well as the Para Educator Board to oversee para policy. Our mission and our vision and our values are listed on this slide as well, so you can review that if you would like. And I will pass it to Matt.
And hi, y'all. Before we continue tonight, we'd like to take a moment of silence just to acknowledge the history of this nation, one that's fraught with many contradictions. For far too long, this country has elevated a story of democracy and freedom while minimizing the impact of violence and oppression on marginalized communities, the communities on whose backs this nation was built and is still building upon. Today, members of our Black and Asian communities and other communities of color continue to experience racism through police brutality, mass incarceration, inequitable education, health services, deportation, and other forms of subjugation. We aim to disrupt this legacy of systemic racism by centering racial equity and justice in our work. This is how we stand with our communities of color. So before we begin, we just want to offer this moment of silence to consider these words and just think about how y'all might join us in this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt and Mackenzie. Hi, everyone. Again, we're so happy you're here. This is actually our final webinar in our series of 6. They have just been Wonderful. I think I've been so inspired by them. But I do want to introduce you then to our presenters for our final webinar. We have Sulan Bocano, and Sulan is a cultural practitioner and a district cultural support program manager at Enumclaw School District, as well as the founder and executive director of Wind and Waters, LLC. She has extensive experience leading and organizing professional learning for a variety of state education agencies and school districts, and she collaborates with surrounding school districts for the healing of canoe for students. She's now the lecturer for the University of Washington Tacoma School of Education, Masters in Education, Social Emotional Learning. And for the past 2 years, Sulan and Marissa have co-coordinated the Puget Sound ESD Educators of Color Professional Learning Grant that PESB sponsored. And we had the opportunity, some of PESB staff, to travel to Toppenish and hear Sulan present at an equity training there. And so we were just doubly blessed to get to hear you, Sulan. That was a great time for us. And our other presenter is Dr. Marissa Windmill. Marissa is a multilingual teacher, a Girls Who Code Club facilitator, and she's a mentor teacher at Kent School District. She has also led work for the NEA and the WEA, and she serves as the Filipino American Educators of Washington Vice President. Marissa also leads work with Childhood International Education through Refugee Educators Academy, and Marissa was also a past PESB board member. So just so grateful to have both of you here again with us today to lead us in learning and talking about self-efficacy and social engagement and community, and how to activate our superpowers in sustaining a healthy ecosystem. So again, I'm really excited and thank you for being here, and we look forward to learning from you. And so we can go on to the next slide and pass it off to
So aloha kako, mahalo nui loa kamai ni ka aina, o ko inoa Sulan ho'okano, o ko aina o Hawaii, o ku mahalo nui loa kanaka o Hawaii. Welcome in my native language. I'm welcoming us in, and so we can go ahead and go to, this is webinar cell 6, as you were informed earlier. I'm going to just give a little bit about our sessions navigations. We did a wonderful intro into today's sessions by acknowledging some of our histories. When I introduced myself, I really just introduced myself in my native Hawaiian language, and I'm acknowledging the lands that I am, which is my Kanako Iwi right now. I am in Hawaii right now, so you are sharing this time with me. And so I really want to just put that out there with you all, that I'm in Hawaii right now. I just got a call from Marissa. She just had a family emergency, so I may be navigating this in myself today. So if I do, and I would encourage that we all just continue to wish her well and hope that everything's all right. So thank you so much for that. Can we go to the next slide, Matt? Thank you. Marissa and I just want to give a little bit for those of you who have not navigated all of the sessions with us. She really is my yin to my yang. We talk about that all the time, and this is one of those moments that we're gonna help each other through whatever we need to get through. And this is what that not just self-efficacy really looks like, but collective efficacy looks like. And we're going to talk a lot about collective efficacy throughout our time today. I really want to just say, one of the things that Marissa is so beautiful at doing is bringing communities together, and we've navigated quite a few opportunities together, and so we are very comfortable with, okay, I've got to go, I've got to take care of this. So one of the things I want to say to you all that are out there with us today is, who is your yin to your yang, or as we would say, your 911, or someone you can call to help lift you up when you need during those specific times, because we really don't do this work alone. Our own work on ourselves, as well as our awareness of how we manage our emotions and take care of things that may not even have been planned, is going to be with our community and our collective people that we share time with. So this is a real experience that's going on right now as we even begin to talk about this. So thank you for that. And go ahead, Matt, next slide. I just honored our lands. This is part of our protocols. Again, really just being in relationship with the land. This is a real picture that's behind me, even though it's a picture. It's part of my lands of in the Makaha Valley. It's Makua. And we were able to take our students there to from Enumclaw to be able to really truly experience what that looks like and feels like. And so I wanted to share my background photo with you as well. And that as descendants of community people, we continue to work on looking at ways to honor our navigation with each other and to be in relationship as we continue to do this work of restorative practices. I'm an Indigenous person, but not just for our Indigenous communities, but for all of those who we share, live, and work within our collective communities, Kaiulu, as I would say, which means your entire community. So thank you for being here today. Next slide, Matt. Thank you. And then our community responsibilities. I just think it's important that, you know, we put things in language that is, it brings us in it, but it also brings our relationships in it. And that we begin to build an understanding of what that looks like, and we can reflect on that. That, you know, there are some things that some of us are new to. There are some things that some of us have navigated for some time. And then how do we honor those moments so that we're meeting the needs of our collective Kaiulu, right, our community, and we continue to lift each other up as we navigate this work together. So your contributions are continuously warmly welcomed. Thank you. So this session's details really is, we've navigated 6 sessions, you know, collectively with Bonnie, and really just, you know, some wonderful work that Bonnie has contributed to the overall learning and unlearning of all of you all as well. We're going to continue to apply what that looks like for you. We're going to continue to have conversations where you are able to look at what are your gifts, or as Sister Marissa would say, your superpowers that actively allow you to engage in your ecosystem, because we all have a place within our ecosystems. And then, you know, we're gonna allow this to be a brave place where you can now begin to plan some action steps and apply those transformative strategies to begin to cultivate what you and your community could be and look like as, you know, agents of change. So we really wanna begin to give you that gift as we start reflecting with the land. And this is from, you know, one of my students, Elise Bill Garish, who keeps continuously gifting us with her gift and recognizing that this is something that she's giving back to the community, while it is also, I'm gonna say, giving her breath to do this work, because it's part of who she is, but she's incorporating it in not just that self-efficacy through her videos, giving her all of those important parts of understanding who she is and what those responsibilities are, but sharing that out to the larger community so that she can continue to help lift up our communities. When we come into this video, I'm going to ask one thing. I'm going to ask you to turn on your sensories. I'm going to ask you to go into a place where you can remember what that feels like, as if that wind and those waters are like right there touching your face and giving you those feelings that you have. And so I want you to go out of some of the systemic thinking that we sometimes sit in, especially it's Monday, we've just got off of work and you're showing up here, which we are so grateful for. Allow for those sensories to really just give you this video's intentions and the gift that Elise has given all of us by creating this. We are transitioning into spring. And so there's a lot going on with our environment. Our environment's really good at understanding how to transition. Humans could learn a lot from the environment. You hear me say that all the time. Allow this gift to really just resonate with you. So I'm going to ask you to turn those sensories on as we walk through this video. Thank you.
As llallil ti paralus. Luraf ti swak deilib a tis deilibs. O cashlaf ti swatuftad. So ashdash. Pohashdash. Hadst ads at a shout. Ust olju ti hash atist ads. So ashdash. Pohashdash. O patid gwasab a tadiol yolab. O chak tadiol yolab twal hali il chef. So ashdash. Pohashdash. As kalosab chef. Ust olju ti hash acquichat atast ads. As walach chef. So ashdash. Pohashdash. Awil ti chefweb gwala ti gak. Luraf tist eit elib atas watuftad. Asht tad talch ti ir. As hali ti chach osadad chef, gwelgwed zadad chef.
As we begin to return from that amazingly beautiful video, where Elise really shares how she's found and developed and reconnected to her own social and emotional well-being through her language and through her environment and through her own growth. She continues to share that with us and celebrates. So as we begin to join today, I want to say, you know, what have we discovered or what have we reunited with that allows us to stay in that social and emotional well-being space? And what have we reunited with since our last time together that continues to let us grow? This is her 4th video that she's now put out, and she's continuing to build on that. And I know she's comfortable with me sharing because we've had this conversation. She's now bringing others with her. So how do we then look at things where we're celebrating and we're reuniting and discovering things about ourselves, but then we're bringing others along with us. So what I'd like to do in this particular thing, this slide, is I wanna give you that Padlet again, and I want you to go in there, and I want you to just put some community celebrations in there, even your own self celebrations that continue to contribute to your community celebrations. I'm going to share one with you first before you go in. I'm home, as I shared earlier, right? I'm home in Hawaii right now. Some of you might have joined earlier where you saw this really powerful video of a traditional Hawaiian dancer. This is our cultural time where we celebrate and honor our traditions. So it's really important for me to be home during these times, where I get my breath, where I get my lift. And I want to say I'm blessed enough to be able to do that, but it allows me to reconnect and to reground. So one of my celebrations are that I'm home with my family, since I am so far away when I'm in Washington, and then building in that community and taking that wellness back to Washington when I go back into Waikini Kona, which is Washington in my language. Also, you might hear some chickens and some birds in the background. So that's living in the country for me, right? So please go ahead and begin to go in there. We're going to give you a few minutes. Go ahead and drop it in there and start putting your celebrations and what are some of those things that we can celebrate with you in this space. Thank you. And if you're not in a safe place to put that down, thank you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll be able to revisit with you later. Thank you so much. Yes, if the Padlet isn't working, please drop it in the chat. We have chat availability too. Trying to make as much options as possible. Thank you, Laura. And one of the things we want to do in this too, as you begin to navigate that, is really look at how are we, and we've talked, you know, Bonnie's talked about it, I've talked about it, really strengthening those mind and brain muscles on what are the things that we're focusing on. How are we utilizing our time to focus on the things that, and build those muscles, right? Build those brain muscles to get more familiar with opportunities to give us aha. Helping my community with meditation. Wonderful, thank you. Showing guests the beauty of Spokane. I'm reading the chat, so I'm just going to pop some of those out. And so really looking at, you know, how are we using our muscles now to continue to build and strengthen these moments instead of focusing on some of the moments that might not assist us in our own social and emotional well-being. Swimming. Thank you for whoever put swimming, because when I'm finished with you all, I'm going swimming. So it's one of the things that I get to do while I'm here. Thank you. Spring is wonderful. And I love spring because here's what spring gets to do for us, right? It gets to show us how it's come out of a really beautiful winter. And I don't like to say a dark and dreary winter because I think winter is beautiful as well, right? Again, how are we using the way that we use words and the way that we perceive things, or the way we've been taught to perceive things? I think winter's beautiful in its own self, but it does go to sleep. A lot of our environment does. And so just like how winter allows some of our environmental relatives time to rest and time to kind of just rejuvenate, we also need that. And we have to remember, thank you for that beautiful photo. We also have to remember we need time to rest and we need time to rejuvenate. And then we come back out and we begin to kind of just bloom a little bit more, right? As we would say, when spring comes and the warmer weather comes. So those transitions are really important. And I think it's important for us to remember that as we begin to navigate. Here's one of my little opihi shells, because I don't say nuggets, I say opihi shells that I'm going to give you. Here's one of my opihi shells I'm going to give you. Utilize the environment's seasonal changes to be able to remember, you know, how to maintain your own social and emotional well-being. So thank you. And I see that Padlet is still going and going and going and to chat. So we really appreciate everybody. It's going to be up there for you. So go ahead and keep visiting that during our time together if you'd like. Thank you so much for your participation. I love celebrations. So here's where I'm going to talk again about how we've moved from, you know, talking about, you know, being self-aware of our, you know, of where we are and what we're here to contribute to, and those growth opportunities that has been provided this entire session, and in just in general in some of the navigations that you all have had in your own lives, right? And experiences. But what does that look like to have like transformational practices versus transactional practices? And there's a big difference between transactional and transformative, right? And I really want us to begin to look at, you know, when we're in a healthy relationship with ourselves, because that's what we started out way back in the beginning, 6 series ago. We started to just really like evaluate who we are and what we're here to contribute. And then we really did some really deep diving on some of the things that maybe we need to kind of let go of, right? Or maybe some of the things we need to maintain or build stronger muscles around. And how do we then look at that in a way that we now move towards this relationship of understanding ourselves, and then move into not just understanding ourselves, but understanding our responsibility. And so many of you dropped in the chat and on the Padlet that I got to see that family, sharing with friends, being outdoors and showing someone your home area. You know, I saw Spokane out there, I saw Seattle out there, I saw many other different places, but a lot of it was about sharing these things that really bring you this deep sense of joy and happiness, right? And so we begin to move out of our own self-efficacy, right? When we then now share that and it becomes a collective efficacy. And so, you know, we begin to draw on something more than just our own selves. I think in this one, Matt, if we click on the letters up in collective efficacy, is there something up in there? No? Maybe not. Then that's okay. Thank you. There it is. So, you know, then, you know, we have to ask ourselves as we begin to do this, right? Like, what are the things that we've experienced, you know, and navigating in our own journeys that we're going to continue to build on? And even though this journey is your journey, right? And you've unpacked and you've learned some things, you've unlearned some things, sharing food, music, and arts. Thank you for that, Jennifer. You know, we really have to look at, you know, what's sticking with us. I want you to think about this before you go to this next activity. A time in your life, right, that you experienced something, right, or even learned something that you might not have expected in that moment, but it stuck with you, like it really, really stuck with you into a way that you draw back on that even today. You draw on that moment as a part of who you are and some of the things that you value or some of the things you appreciate. A moment that really stuck with you. So before we go into that, I'm going to ask you to try to think back, you know, of a time that you had an experience that really stuck with you and that you still even share that back out to others, or you remember that when you need to, so that you can bring yourself back into a well minded, spiritual, or even physical way. So think about that when you answer this next question on the Padlet. This is going to go, is this the Padlet? No, this is the Jamboard. So sorry. What is something from your experience so far, right? Whether that's in your past or whether that's throughout these series or something that you just, something that you're just, it's sticking with you. What is that? What is something from your experiences so far that really sticks with you? And you can even put maybe even why that stuck with you, you know, and this you might have to think a little bit about. Some of you might already be right there, and that's okay too. You have to draw on memories and experiences. I believe, really deeply believe, that learning is an experience. It's an experience that you have, right, that can truly stick with you. That's when learning really, really stays with you. It's not transactional, it's transformational. It's transformative, right? The gratitude of everyday joy. Thank you. Let me read. I know you. And if you can't get in there, please, please, please drop it in the chat. To give grace to others. Thank you. Exploring daffodils with your grandparents 45 years ago, but it stuck with you, right? Like these are those things. How are we creating opportunities for that? How are we continuously looking at ways that our experiences are able to stick with us so that we can then begin to share that out, staying connected. I'm gonna allow this to go for a little bit because I think it's really important. And read your communities, ones that are up there as well. I'm so appreciating all of the collective efficacy and stories and just moments that you all have allowed us to share with you. I really want to thank you for sharing your stories. Some of them are, I got married, right? Saying I do 38 years ago, just listening, active listening, you know, and living in places that living at the migrant camp, something that stuck with you. Always wanting to keep learning and giving yourself grace. We have to give ourselves grace as well, right? Because while we say we have to give grace and growth for others, I think we're our own worst critics most times. Matter of fact, I think most times we're our most worst critics. We have to give ourselves grace and allowance for things that happen in our lives. And I really so appreciate everything that you all are sharing, because what I see in some of this that you're bringing forward is really empathy, right? And you can't have collective efficacy if you don't have empathy and you don't have understanding. I saw somebody put that in their forgiveness. And that's huge, right? Forgiveness for ourselves, not just ourselves, but forgiveness for others. Again, grace for ourselves and grace for others. Forgiveness for ourselves and forgiveness for others. What does that look like in practice? And how are we continuously utilizing our muscles in our minds to allow it to line up with our spirits? I had an aunt, we're going to wrap this one up a little bit, but we'll go back to some other things too. And she would always say to me, Suilan, if you could take this, right, your mind, your muscles, and you can align it with this, which is your heart, right? And then this, which is your na'au, which are like your instincts, as she would say, she goes, then you would be in a place where you would understand yourself more, and those positions that were those unlearning and learning moments. So I want to thank all of you for everything that you've been sharing. It's just amazing to watch that just populate into this big, beautiful, big community. Thank you so much. And again, it's going to be up there for you to revisit if you ever need it. They will stay open until they close me down. They'll stay open for you to revisit when you need them. They'll stay open for, you to share with others as well if you'd like to. So again, remembering to turn on those sensories that we talked about earlier, right? Utilizing all of these tools and resources that you've experienced so far, but not just in this 6 series, just in life in general, that you already came equipped with before you even started these Zoom series. You already came equipped before you started these series. You had some of all of what we're talking about. What we're doing right now is we're reminding ourselves, and sometimes we need those, right? We need that grace and that forgiveness. Thank you. And we need to tell ourselves it's okay. And so thank you for that, for sharing what is sticking with you so far and how we're going to continue to move in our restorative practices to remind ourselves to constantly be in a socially emotional well-being space, not just in self-efficacy, but in collective efficacy. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to jump in, sis. I'm here now.
Look at their sister.
And this is just
Okay.
a perfect segue. I'm going to give an example of what you are talking about. Thank you for giving me grace, because instead of panicking and feeling guilty of not being here right at the very beginning, I apologize, but I don't feel very bad being gone, because I was able to attend to what was needed. And I don't feel guilty, because I know I could rely on you, and I could rely on Leonie and Matt and Mackenzie. It's that just self-awareness and knowing the collective efficacy that gives me that peace of mind. And so having that peace of mind, having that trust in knowing who we collaborate, and knowing that there is that collaboration in trust, it made me not panic I was at peace while attending to an emergency. And I got home safe. Although prior to this event, in between our sessions, there are so many things that happened. That accident, I had a car accident. I got totaled. My car got totaled. I could have panicked, but because I was attentive and aware of myself, I was able to do something that is needed. And so that saved our lives. And so I think it's, this helped a lot. Our webinar series helped me a lot in paying attention to what I need, giving myself what I need in order to be of service to others. And I think really putting that in our head that, hey, what do I need? What should I be doing to make myself full? Because we cannot give to others what we don't have. We have to fill our cup before we can share with others. And I'm so glad that I was able to do that because I was able to pay attention to what's needed. And so thank you for giving me grace. I wasn't able to be present at the very beginning because I was here already, but my husband called me and my daughter was by herself. But after practice, I didn't know that our schedule had this conflict today. And so I was able to attend to that. But Sister Solan, being the powerful woman that she is, and I trust that she was able to do this. And thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I know I heard comments even outside this series. I've got to know some of you outside this series, and we got connected. We got connected on Yin and Yang Facebook page. Thank you so much for participating to that. But I want to extend, this is not just a space that we will be collaborating. I am hoping that all of us here will be connected in many spaces. So I'm going to let Sister Solan continue, but I'll jump in when I need. So yeah, let's keep learning and paying attention to our needs, and so we can collectively develop our efficacy.
Thank you, sister. And that's what it looks like in practice, right? Like if we can look at things as being, when you choose to align yourself with your senses, right? And you become more aware of your environment. This is our environment right now. We have, Leani, we have Mackenzie, we have Matt, we have Prajakta and Sister Marissa, right? You really are aware of who's in your environment, and you're able to understand those stages of growth and positioning ourselves to receive and even to give that wellness. But even more important, I think, too, is we're consciously positioning ourselves, right? To understand our own body's regulation. And Sister Marissa said that so well as she came in, right, from that emergency situation. I have been practicing this because of these series. It reminds us to practice. Okay, I can panic right now. I can get my heart rate. I'm watching and feeling that. I know my body. But it takes practice, right? This everyday practice extends beyond these micro moments that we're all having together right now. It really takes practice for us to understand what these emotions are. What am I feeling right now? Understanding my own self-body and awareness. And then how can I then now manage that? We did that self-awareness, self-management. Right now we're going into that efficacy piece and that action piece. But when you begin to participate in these type of spaces, you begin to not just, it's uplifting, it's encouraging, it's energizing, it's inspiring. And we continue this growth of ourselves along with others. We would not be able to participate with all of you if it wasn't for that Kaiulu, this wonderful community that we have, that we all lean on each other for various reasons. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, can you check this link? Because I don't know if it's open. And Mackenzie's like, you got to go open that link. Leani is emailing me back. Matt's telling me something too. Sister Marissa's like, you didn't give me permission to get in this thing. And so really all of this, that even though Marissa and I are the ones speaking, would not even happen if it wasn't for the collective efficacy of all of the wonderful PESB coordinators that are here today to service. And then all the other background things that go along with that for you all to register and get on here and create the webinar. So all of this is where I'm going, is it's generated from an alignment to managing on where we are in our ecosystem and then contributing into that space. Really boils down to that same Matt that told me about this and this and this also talks about, I have some really wise old kapunas and I honor their conversations. I was that little kid and I saw some of the memories and things that stick with you, right? Some of you wrote with my grandparents in the yard. I was the one that when our kapuna were singing or talking in circles, you know, I would just sit there and listen to their conversations. They had so much to gift us, right? But it's that symbiotic relationship to everything and all that is around us and understanding where we sit within that ecosystem. And when we co-create a healthy environment through these self-growth inquiries, through diverse lived experiences, we then begin to move beyond transactional and we become transformative. And we share what that looks like with each other. So I'm really so grateful and thankful for Sister. Do you want to put anything in that, sis? Do you want to say anything about that? So we can go ahead and go to the next slide, Matt. Thank you. So this is where we really want to celebrate the diversity within, right? We talk about that, like all of us are bringing these beautiful contributions to this community. And when we celebrate that diversity within, when we're able to really look at our way of how we show up and how we build community, we really begin to look at things where our stories and as part of our identity. And I wanted to put this poster up there. It is current on April 22nd, you know, is Earth Day, but every day is Earth Day for me. And so we're honoring the earth. We're continuously honoring. That's the one shared commonality we all have on this planet. And in my language, it's called the honua, right? It is the one thing we all have in common. We share this beautiful earth that provides all of the resources and the life and the breath and the air that we get to share with. And so I want us to really sit in that for a minute and say, here's an opportunity for you to go. You're all welcome to go to the canoe landing and to go in and be a part of Earth Day. And if you can't get to this one, find one, take a walk, give Mother a thank you, celebrate that with your families, because we could learn so much, so much from our environment. But Earth Day is every day. And I wanted to put that there because even within the celebration of all our diversity, the one thing that we do share is our earth. And that is the commonality that brings us all together. And there are other things that we share, but this is the one commonality that we all have and that we share a responsibility to as collective efficacy and even in our own self walks. Thank you.
And there are so many ways for us to celebrate diversity within during Earth Day. If you check out where you live, there are so many volunteer opportunity where you can be in communion with the environment. One thing that I did during the break is actually tend my garden. So I did some planting, and because we did the climb time, I brought as cottonwood piece, and I put it on in my planter, and you know what? It's growing.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel so connected to the land, to the earth.
Yeah.
I also made some cottonwood oil, sister. I'm not sure if
Oh, I can see it. Yeah.
can you see it? But this jar is from Marin. And this is the honey that she gave me. And I thought, I would like to, connect everything with what's happening so that everything is in sync. So I have a cottonwood essential oil here, and I've been loving it, since I had the back pain and neck pain. I use it too to ease the pain. But there are so many ways for us to be in communion with the diversity of our ecosystem. I went to Carpinito last 2 days ago and just enjoy the plant there, and I feel like I'm already enhancing that that awareness to be in communion. I'm becoming more aware of what trees and plants are around me. So everywhere I go, I always see nettles now. And to me, that's like nettles are not just seeds, like,
Yeah.
I pick nettles and just touch it, and it feels so good. So maybe there's not that awareness, there's not that awareness, there was not that awareness before in me, but because I'm constantly learning from our climb time, from our PD, and learning from others really helped me to be in communion with our environment. And it makes me really at peace because, oh, I know this tree, oh, I know this plant, oh, we can use this plant. So you're also educating the people, so, around you. I talk to my kids about these are nettles, and this during springtime we can use this, we can do this. And so that's one way of celebrating the diversity within and during our Earth Day. There are so many ways. Maybe we can send some links.
I think so. I think so. And as educators, right, we often can utilize the environment as a co-teacher. And I think, again, I always give props. It's almost like I'm like this promotion for the environment, right? Like we give props to the environment as being a co-teacher or being underutilized as a co-teacher with not just our own social and emotional well-being, but within when we get back into our classrooms and how we utilize that for our students and ourselves and just the learning. So what Marissa's talking about is, I have a community that we work with, that we continue to build that collective efficacy, and then all of us bring ourselves out to nature. And so through Climb Time, we're able to take teachers out with our Native communities out here and experience what that looks like. And so for, right now, well, we're almost past it, but it's nettle harvesting. And for those of you who know nettle, it's an amazing plant. And there's so many lessons in nettle and there's so many uses that we can have. And then Sister Marissa is just sharing. So I think this really goes to also saying, I'm using those muscles that I now found, right? And I'm recognizing where I didn't realize that I passed those nettles before, I passed that cottonwood before, and I didn't even recognize what that was. Now I'm aware, right? And now I've had an activity or an engagement with that. Now I've built a relationship with it. Now I'm actively looking for it, right? And so again, it really does align with what we're doing in these series with you all, is that you're now becoming aware of it, you're utilizing those muscles, so you're actively seeking and recognizing those plants and those medicines and those people who are giving us our social and emotional wellness. So thank you for that, sister. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. We can go to the next slide. So we kind of talked about this right now. I think we kind of just talked into this slide, right? So we went to self-awareness, we went to consciousness and diving into our authentic selves, and then rediscovering what those powers were and understanding those strengths or even our personal and professional identities, and then building those collective understandings. Again, this was the first photos that Marissa and I had shown you all when we first met you, right? I'll speak a little bit about mine. That is on my home. Again, it's one of my sacred spots where I get to sit and I get to reflect and I get to come back into a place of understanding, because the reality is we do get busy, and I'll use that word, and we want to just keep going. Sometimes we have to give ourselves that opportunity to just stop and collect ourselves and remember what we've been learning throughout these sessions and what you've already brought with you. And so this picture really for me is me being able to go to that place. And when I leave you today, this is where I'm going, because I am home, like I said. I get to go there, right? I get to sit in my sacred waters where my ancestors have gifted me the ability to be me. And I get to come back there. And then in 1 week, because I am on my spring break right now, then I go back to Waikine Kona, to Washington, and I'm able to gift back wellness with those that I get to engage with, because I've maintained that understanding of my own emotions, and then I can bring that into my community. Sister, do you want to speak on behalf of yours?
Well, because of that belief and the state of mind, being aware of myself, then I am able to model my actions, my thoughts with my students. So my students actually just read the book, The Code, The 5 Secrets of Teen Success. And I think, and it was very successful, I would say. A lot of my students were really not interested in reading. If it, if the reading doesn't resonate with who they are. And so with that book, it was written by Maui Asgadom. He was a refugee student who came to the United States as a refugee, but because of his motivation to succeed, he was able to go to Harvard and become a very successful motivational speaker and wrote those books. But a lot of what he was saying in the book is about knowing your gifts and pressing your turbo button and knowing your skills and knowing what you need and advocate for those. But also he talks about advocacy. How do you advocate, and how do you, knowing who the people are that you can work with. And I feel like, these are the things that I would like my students to know now, so that they are better equipped when they go to college or when they have a job. And I think our awareness of ourselves also can help, with the people that are within our circle of influence, or the people that we can share our awareness, and how can we also press their turbo button so that they can be more aware of their gifts, of their talents, so that they can collaborate with others and increase more community assets and collective assets in the community. Because for us, we shouldn't be, I don't want to use the word selfish, but share our gifts, share our talents, because that's when we really truly become community. So what are those assets and talents that you have already? I know that my, my power, I would say my superpower, which is my gift, is really knowing who I am and knowing what I have and how I can share it with others. And it's not to brag about what I know or what I'm capable of doing, but I think I considered what I have as a gift to me. And so I'm sharing whatever I have to others. And so I think it's through that sharing your gifts. Well, I use superpower, but it's a gift. It's, it's a gift that's given to me for me to share with you. And so what are those gifts or assets that you have received, that you have not activated yet, that you can share with others? So we develop this collective efficacy so that we can help not just our own circle, but outside circle as well.
Outside circle as well. Yeah. Thank you. And the true meaning of aloha, I'm sure most of you have heard that word, and in its context of, tourist, or even just, but it is a real word for us, right? Like for my people, it's a real word. And aloha really means, unconditional love for everything and all that is around you, like that symbiotic relationship. And we are taught that, but it's not something that you hold on to, it's something that you share. It's something like Sister Marissa was saying, that you continue to gift others. You don't hold on to that, like, it's not something for you, it's something for you to learn, but it's also something for you to share out with others. And so, really important that you continue that community connections and those collective efficacies. And so, Matt, I think if you click on the words, there we go. We want you to now tell us, in your collective efficacy, right, and in your journey with us, what's something that's like rocked you now? Like, what is something that's like, this rocked my world, right? This is something I want to hold on to. We talked about what was sticking with us. Now we want to know what's rocking you. Like, what's motivating you? What's keeping you, like, you're gonna just, like, you're taking this and you're gonna run with this, right? And you're gonna share this, and you're gonna just be like rocking the world with this. What is something that's rocked you so far that you want to continue to build those muscles on? In your husband. Oh, that's so wonderful. You should let him see that. I'm sure he's going to be so happy, Nancy. So thank you. Like, what's rocking you right now? we're going to give you some time to go ahead and be on that and just share with all of us, you know, like what's rocking you right now. You know, we have to, you know, those are those celebrations too, right? And if the Padlet's not working for you, thank you, Jenny. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. 44 days left of school. Thank you. Courage to speak out. Yes. Travel. I just love watching this just blossom. Yes, for those of you, this is the number 2 on the Padlet. So if you just switch on over to the next side, it gives you the second question. There's, I think, 3 or 4 of them we have on this particular Padlet. So thank you. Oh, blessings, 12 grandchildren.
I love that. Knowing it is okay to fail, being comfortable with who I am. I think that's really important, to be comfortable for who we are. To give a family, friendships, active listening to friends and family, traveling, resting, grandchild, the impact of simple acts of kindness. Yes. Learning about new cultures and knowing new places.
I'll
Being
share with you what's
comfortable in
rocking. Yeah, go ahead, sister.
being comfortable in my own skin. Yes.
One of the things that's rocking me right now is my oldest grandson is about to graduate this year. And I'm just like, whoa, when did that happen?
Oh my goodness, congratulations.
Yes. He's the number 1 born.
Oh, wow.
I see the ones with the grandchildren in there. That's what brought that forward, right? Being helpful to all.
Just
Thank
come back from a
you.
spring break, Caribbean cruise, and have 44 days left of school. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm going to one of the best islands in the Philippines in summer. So I'm excited about that too. Seeing that Caribbean cruise sounds really exciting. The water gives me that joy as well. Grandkids, lots of grandkids. Number 1 is going to be 13 on the 29th. Wow. Quality time with my elderly parent. Wow, lots of things going on. Daughter's wedding.
You know, and we want to remind ourselves, right, that we've got some things rocking our worlds, right? Like this is that breath that we get again, right, from each other, the celebrations, what's rocking us, what's sticking with us, and really just being able to congratulations everyone on such a lovely celebrations. Yes. Coaching. And so, you know, we continue to rock each other's world. We continue to support each other's celebrations. We continue to collectively lift each other up. You know, we rise by lifting others. And that's a saying in a lot of communities around the world, you know. So, oh, your son is graduating and getting into his college of choice. You know, we want to focus on these things, right, as we begin to navigate our educational systems and some of the places that we're in, and remind ourselves that, you know, you guys are rocking it. You guys are rocking
I
our
love the
world.
diversity also of the responses here.
Yeah.
My son is finally getting married and retiring and seeing students succeed and grow emotionally. Goddaughter's wedding. Oh my goodness, these are so exciting.
It's so beautiful to see this. We get to have a moment with your all stories, right? This gives us a glimpse of your stories. And I'm just so grateful for all of that contributions that you have already continued to just be so gracious in giving all of us. an opportunity to peek into your rockin' worlds, you know.
And we're hoping that you continue to rock your world with all these amazing events, celebrations, and blessings that you are receiving.
Congratulations, 32 years. Oh, your youngest getting married in August. You did the wedding dress thing. Oh, that was fun.
Oh
My
my
daughter got married like 3 years ago, and that wedding dress thing, I was like, really? We're gonna do this? But then I went back into that. No, okay, let's celebrate this, right? So again, what muscles do we use? Thank you for celebrating and rocking with that.
Krista, I love that immense growth in 4th grade. Oh my goodness.
Mm,
It's hard to have that growth, especially right after pandemic, but it looks like you are rocking it.
yes, you
Introducing
guys are
dictionaries. Oh my goodness.
wonderful.
Introducing dictionaries to 3rd grade. That's amazing. I don't think
Focusing on the positive things. Thank you. Humans can be so incredible, right? Ah, we get into these deficit mindsets, right? We need to get back into these asset and these positive mindsets, these transformative mindsets. And that's really what this is really for us to just remind ourselves that you're rocking, and that things that have stuck with you are things that are really positive, and being able to move you forward. Being at the birth of your grandchildren. Oh, I know. So for those of us who are grandparents, I'm just going to share that. Because I'll just share this for the grandparents in the room. I thought I could love my children no greater than any other love, right? And then the grandchildren showed up, and I was like, and the only thing I can reference this to, which may not be a great reference, is like a steroid shot of love. Like there's just this blow up of love that you didn't even realize you had so much more to give. And so grandchildren, man, that is just like, I think it just takes you to that next level of love you never understood even existed in life. And you thought you gave all the love you had to your children and your spouse and your family. And then grandchildren show up and you're like, whoa, hold on. This is so much more love than I even thought I could even have within my own capacity. So it is just wild. 13 and counting. I've got 5. So yes, and yes.
oh my
So,
goodness, there's a lot of celebrations on this page of
this is
Jamboard.
beautiful. Yes, it's so wonderful. And so, we continue to invite you to come back and visit and, utilize this as part of your board of remembrance as we go and we move forward and continuing collective efficacy with you all and building this social and emotional wellness that we carry into the larger Honua, right? Into more spaces and not just our own individual communities, but we expand that out to the larger communities and really give that aloha. So thank you so much. Again, you'll have this for you. You can continue to visit and you can continue to add on to it too and share it. So yes, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
And notice that we forgot the letter E on something, but thanks for the grace.
Thanks. Yeah. So, we just kind of put a big giant vision board up there, right? We really did. We asked what was rocking with you, and this is your vision, your dream, your board. And a few sessions back, we had all of you really create your own in what that looked like and be able to go back and forth to that and put it in a place that maybe you get to see in your office or maybe you get to see at home. But it's really great. I'm a visual person in almost everything that I do, right? Like I have to connect that visually. That's the way that I've learned, aesthetically. And so I really think it's important to say, where are you and how have you been utilizing your own vision board? And again, you have these boards, these jam boards that you can go back and pull from as well. So really giving you that opportunity to have multiple resources and multiple, go back tos and visits to help to remind you Because it's not to say that we are not going to find times that are going to be rough, you know, as we navigate through the rest of our lives and our journeys. But how do we then remind ourselves of what's rocking with you and all the beautiful things we just celebrated, so that we can stay in a healthy mind and spirit and body? Sister?
Well, this just I love looking at this because the heart and the people in different colors, it just represents of all the responses that you have there in the previous slide, the Jamboard. You know, if we look at all the great things, the blessings, the gifts, the celebrations that we have, it's really like a love in community. And then if you look at this yellow, is it Sister Celine, remind me of this flower, because you know,
The
life changes.
dandelion.
Dandelions. And you know, I was just looking at dandelions, but through our climb time, I learned about dandelions. How and I pulled these dandelions and I ignored them. But you know, knowing what dandelions is now, it just makes it more meaningful to me and more beautiful. And it's just like our lives, you know. I thought life is, you know, it's just beautiful, but sometimes we have challenges. And the accident I had was an opportunity for me to really reflect, because I've been, you know, I really wanted to keep my car. I had been driving that for 15 years, and I felt like I was so content driving that car, and I felt like I can drive that car until, you know, it dies. So it looks brand new because it's well maintained until that accident happened. And I didn't even, you know, I got totaled, and I told the auto body shop that, can I please keep it? Can you please repair this car? Because I still want to drive it. I really hold on to things, but I think, you know, reflecting on that experience, it's okay to let go, because the biggest change can happen when we learn how to let go. And so the Mary Kay career car that I drove and maintained and took care of for a long time is gone. But my husband bought me a new car, and to me it's like a celebration because my kids love the car. We feel safe, we feel very comfortable, and plus with all the technology that it has, and you know, I would say it's hybrid, so it's cheaper when it comes to gas, but it's a car that will hold our family together and transport us to places where, you know, we need to be. So change really, although it's sometimes happen in the most unexpected way, change is good because it brings us new perspective and new things in our lives. So, you know, but the vision, what's our vision? What's our dream? As long as we're true to our core, what our vision and dream is, no matter what happens, if we're true to that, it will continue to be there. I think my priority is my family. And so owning a car that is more reliable is really good instead of holding onto my trophy on wheel. So what's your vision? What's your dream? What's in your core? How would you hold on to that vision no matter what happens? Whether challenges or problems occur, how will you pursue that vision or that dream?
And I want to say too, you know, that sister brought, you know, that there's, you know, we have reasons why we bring specific like visuals in, right? And the visual of that dandelion, you know, although often dismissed as a weed, right? Often looked upon as something stubborn in your lawn. This really is, again, another plant relative that has some beautiful, strong, wonderful lessons in life that we as humans could learn from, right? It grows in the cracks after being devastated, right? It returns into spaces and brings back life. It actually has some really strong and beautiful medicinal purposes. And so really looking at things that it's the weed, but no, is it really a weed? It's a beautiful, strong plant that has so much to give to the world and is resilient in itself as a dandelion, right? Often looked over or even mowed over it should be utilized for its wonderful benefits. But those assets are hidden, right? Not many people realize what assets these dandelions come with. And so just like our humans and what we've been talking about, really taking a look at how we look at things visually, and maybe we have a biases about a weed, like we're using dandelions, but the beautiful medicinal and strengths that come within that, that we might be missing. Because we're too quick to move by, and we don't stop for a minute and take a moment to look at the leaves and the roots and the flowers. The dandelion has some amazing medicine. It's a great management for your skin. For women, it's for that time of the moon cycles. It also is good for your liver and your heart, but it makes an amazing dandelion root latte. And if you haven't had one yet, you need to have somebody to make one for you. Sister Marissa was able to taste the dandelion root latte, right? And so really looking at things again, where are those beautiful hidden assets and gifts, even within something as simple as a beautiful dandelion. So thank you.
But it's true with our students too. Sometimes, when we look
And
at our
ourselves,
students,
yeah.
we see them as dandelions. But if we really look at them and examine and learn about the value of that plant or that student, we can see assets within. And so it's up for us to look at them and truly get to know them, and then build capacity and grow them, cultivate them to be the geniuses that they are, just like
Yeah.
the dandelions.
Yeah, find your dandelions. Go get some dandelion root latte. By the way, it's really good if you haven't tried it. Thank you. So your vision boards, again, going back to them, what is something that you want to continue to put on there so that you can visually see that? What are some of those hidden things that you haven't, maybe navigated so familiarly with? And then we're utilizing our brain muscles to get more comfortable and more familiar with going back to those roads that we need to travel. So thank you for that. Thank you, Matt. We'll go to the next slide. So this is really where we begin to just put that call to action for you, right? Like, we're navigating the end of our time together in this space, but that doesn't mean that our time is going to end. I'm sure that we'll hopefully be able to navigate some time with all of you all in other spaces or share spaces. But we really want you to look at, like, there's a Google Doc form that we want you to just kind of go on. Thank you for that. And just answer some questions for yourselves, like, where are you? Yeah, we're going to get to that next. Where are you in your social and emotional well-being? How confident are you about, maintaining the support you received and the support you already came with? So I don't want to, because I want to acknowledge the assets you already came with before you even got here with us, but even the support, again, those continued uplifts for everyone. And then how can you motivate yourself to continue to stay in these spaces, even when you're not in the spaces? And then what's 1 to 2 items that you're going to gift yourself to maintain your social emotional well-being? And then what's 1 to 2 action steps that you have taken during these sessions to support your social and emotional? So what's one you're going to do, and then what's one that you're going to implement? Can you go to the top, Matt, really quick? I think it's on the top. Yeah. And then how can we continue to support you as well? So if you can go ahead and just take your time to fill that out. I think we have some, you can go ahead and get that on your own, and then we'll go back to the Canva. And we have some music in here that Sister has for us to play while you do that after the commercials. I think that's your video, Sissy. Yep. And just give you some time to think about that. It's going to give you a few more minutes to just really just sit with that. apologies if no one was able to get into that space. We wanted to just, again, just continue to hopefully work on that. And thank you for your grace during that time. I hope for those of you who were able to get in there, that you're able to utilize some of those questions to continue the work that we're all doing. We have this in the beginning of our slides, and it really was about like looking at self, looking at culture, and looking at the different ways that our values, our belief systems, and then how there are different ways of looking at social and emotional well-being. But then again, how do we then align each other and continue to build that empathy for even the diversity within social and emotional well-being? And these are what we've continued to hopefully gift you all, and hopefully, and not hopefully, but I know you gift us that ability as well. And so we can go to the next slide. I just wanted to just put that back as a reminder for, and you all have also said all of this in your responses, in your Padlets and in your Jamboards and all the other things. You've got community, family, you've got your culture, you've got your faith, your religion, behaviors, your languages, your customs, arts, drama. And so really just showing this again, and then aligning it to all of the responses that you folks had, because you really did embody all these different ways of looking at social and emotional well-being. So thank you so much for that. Next slide. And so again, this is the let's do it, right? We're doing it. And sister, thank you for your happy little heart. I just love the happy heart. We really are just doing this. This is what we're doing. We're moving forward. You're realizing what you've already came with, some of the new learning and even unlearning that we've had in our social emotional well-being, how this has built joy for you and all of us in our ecosystem, and how we're going to share that in our home and in our work and our immediate communities. And I think, Matt, if you click on the gift and assets, oh, maybe not. I wanted to, before we start this video, share with you what that looks like in our communities when we are understanding our responsibility for ourselves and how we transfer. And I'm going to get emotional. My ocean's going to come, because this young man is really another spirit in this world that we've touched, right, as a collective community, and have gifted them the opportunity to see that within themselves and in a reflection of who they are and where they're going with that. And so for those of you who don't know, recently we took 27 students and 7 teachers to Hawaii under mastery-based learning, and we did a cultural exchange and an immersion, land-based, project-based, mastery-based experience. And we were able to gift our students an opportunity to sit and share with community. And this is one of many moments that just reminds us of the impact that we have on others. And this young man really just was able to just share that in a moment of circle. So we would circle and we would share what our day was like. And this is one of our students who got to go on the Huaka'i, which means journey, who was able to share what they received from this particular journey, part of the journey that we were on. So thank you for listening and being present and sharing what you give to students on a daily basis as well. Thank you. All right.
Things, whether it be like skills or finding different plants in nature or different ways to just process knowledge and emotions. But one thing that was common throughout all my interactions here is just a sense of unconditional love. And I hope that when I go home, I can go back and apply that to my own life and many, if not all, of my interactions, and just keep on learning and keep on growing, and hopefully apply those, because I want to be a teacher someday.
If you didn't catch that end part, it's because he said, because he wants to be a teacher one day, right? And we gave students an ability to look at learning in an experience that was transformational for them, that was beyond their own understanding of what education was. and then what are they going to do with that in sharing that? And so I'm really grateful for the time we've all had together. I wanted to share this amazing story with you. We are, and we will have a documentary at the end of it. Just really utilizing our youth's voices when we give them experiences of love and community, and how that transcends into their way of looking at their own education and purpose as well. Thank you so much for allowing us to share that. Sis, did you want to talk a little bit about the slide beforehand?
Sure, yes. All right, so as we're wrapping up and doing this finale, I want to make sure that you are all aware, as Leanne and Mackenzie talked to you about getting your PGP complete as well. So this video was actually made by one of my first cohort of PGP through Refugee Educator Academy, Hannah Hong, created this video. And so when I saw this at PESB website just recently, I thought this is a perfect opportunity for our participants to earn extra 25 clock hours for their PGP to just document the professional growth that they had during this webinar series. And so this video is about, I think 18 minutes. It's a tutorial. So if you would like to, I'm not sure how many of you are already doing your PGP and are planning to do it. You have plenty of time to finish it. You have until June 30 to submit it, but you need a person to sign it, a certificated staff to sign the PGP at the end. But if you do have questions about it, I'm offering myself to be your sounding board. I'll create a time where I can have, I can help you out with questions. I'll have an hour in May to just respond to for free, to respond to your questions. I love helping our teachers and paraeducators continue to grow. And so I do a lot of things pro bono, just because I wanna, I wanna extend the gifts that I have, because it's so hard to navigate the system, and having someone to help you out with this is really important. If you're so close to getting your salary advancement and you just need 25 clock hours, this is an opportunity for you to add to how many hours you have already so that you can meet that goal. And this is simply documenting the growth that you have done and accomplished throughout our series. So if I'm not sure, Leanne, you want to talk about this PGP, or Mackenzie? I'm willing to help out anyone who is interested in doing this if there are questions, or the website itself has information, but sometimes, we need someone to talk to, just to, to bounce idea off and just have the response right away. And I'm willing to support you. I've been doing PGP for 4 years now, supporting our educators. And I would say that's one of also of my gifts is to know PGP. I love PGP. When we were piloting it, I don't know, 10 years ago, I did my own PGP, and I attended MOOC. It's online course through Stanford. And I learned from Kenji Hakuta about academic discourse, and I implemented right away with my students, not necessarily so that, I'm doing it for my students, but I'm doing it for my professional goal. I want to be more knowledgeable about implementing academic discourse, but I also have like a lot of skills around that area. And so that's my personal growth, my professional growth that I was able to use for my students. So for this series, webinar series, you've grown professionally. your self-awareness, your self-management, your self-efficacy, social management, social engagement, everything is, you
Mhm,
know, we were able to do it. So
mhm.
I would like to be able to help you write that down if you do have questions. But I think the tutorial is very easy to understand. You can follow it. But if you do have questions, I'm willing to help you. I noticed also that in your response to survey, one of the things that I saw was providing resources. So this is the next slide is actually list of resources. So Matt, if you could please go to the next slide, I can talk about it briefly. So the first one is, yeah, the PSB, the PGP itself. So where you can find the video and other resources. And then the tutorial is the next one. And then social emotional learning through OSPI, tons of resources. And there's also there's a module for facilitators guiding how to implement the social emotional learning. And then there is this website. The next one is Youth Engage for Change. Tons of ideas on how to engage youth. Chapter 8, developing strategic plan, section developing an action plan. So if you want to create a community and you want to start with a vision, mission, that resources would help you create that community that's supportive of one another. If you want to create that transformative change in your own workplace or even in your own community. The next one is taxonomy project. This is from this must have been from, yeah, Harvard. This is from Harvard, and it's a group of organizations and agencies that came together to examine different standards. So like the CASELs, SEL, tons of resources there. If you want to understand more about, you know, how do we truly implement social emotional learning? How can we make an impactful change using social emotional learning? Those of you who love research, that is a great resource for you. And then policy brief spring, that's from Princeton. I love research. I love to read all the studies. And so I went and looked for these resources for those of you who would like to explore more. And then Words Matter, again, that's from Harvard. And it's all about social emotional learning. There's a ton. I mean, I feel like we can do a 5-year study of social emotional learning and become expert of it. So we're just surfacing what's within social emotional learning. If we really want to be experts and want to do our own mini action research, maybe that's something that we would like to do, come together and present it. I'm not sure if it's something that, you know, our state, but look for those conferences. Another way of I would say developing our collective efficacy is knowing what conferences are out there and how we can share learning that you have. So like Sister Solan and I are like, we're conference geek. We love to we love to go to conferences and present in conferences. In fact, I'll be presenting at the WABE conference and another DKG conference in Olympia coming up at the end of April. But that's another way, like finding resources, utilizing resources, and sharing the resources. So if you do have any questions, let me know. But I would love to talk to you about PGP and how you can put together, kind of reflect on that's the most important thing on this PGP is reflecting about your journey and how you can apply it and how to truly immerse yourself in the learning so that you can utilize it to help others.
Yep.
I
I want to give Leonie a chance to talk if she has anything to add on to that.
No, Marissa, I really thank you for donating your time. That's very generous of you. And my only question was, how would you like them to contact you if they do have questions about this? Do you have a certain day and time that you want to just share with me and I can share that out with everyone? Or
so I share my number, but I don't check my email time every 5 minutes, unlike other people. I do have a schedule, and so the time that I have available are Monday and Tuesday from 5 to 6:30. That's when I take my daughter to soccer practice, and I can sit in my car
She
and do
does.
the webinar there.
She does. She does. She gets work done in soccer practice. So there we go, managing that time, right? And I wanted to say too that Marissa has been an amazing resource for our educators who find it a little bit difficult to navigate PGPs, right? And so thank you, Leonie. Leonie's been an amazing resource with us too. And again, Mackenzie and Prajakta and Matt. But Marissa really is like, this is her gift. This isn't my gift, this is her gift, right? But if you need to go out in the mala, if you need to go out in the environment and you need to find some plants and some place to put your hand in the dirt, that's me, that's who I'll be the expert in, right? Like I can navigate that space. So this is where we've really been able to balance ourselves and create these learning opportunities where we bring those communities together, we're weaving them in really wonderfully. But Marissa really is an amazing resource. And I want to say, you know, if she's offering this and you feel like this is something that you could fit within your own life navigation right now, please do know that that's an amazing opportunity. I think that's all I want to say on that one. I think we're almost at time. Do you want to add anything else, sister or Leonie?
I just want to say thank you for the space, for bringing us together, because we might not, have seen ourselves face to face. I don't know. Maybe when I see you somewhere, you might know me, but I don't know you because I don't see your face here. But, feel free to really see me, approach me, talk to me. And if you have any questions, if you want to get your master's in, get your, I don't know, principal certification, ask me. If you want to become a teacher, ask me. If you want to become get your doctorate, ask me. I'm an influencer for American College of Education because of the, my connection or collaboration with them, and how I'm proud of the journey that I had with them. They asked me if I could be I'm the pilot influencer for American College of Education. So there are so many programs there that I can talk to you about. If you are interested in learning more about the programs, they actually help in diversifying our educator workforce, and they are affordable. And so just let me know what I can help you with. I feel like I learned to navigate our system, and I'm good at it. So
Yeah, thank you for that, sister. Thank you. I want to just, as we begin to wrap up, and then I want Leonie and Mackenzie them to really just come into this as we begin to look at, what are we doing, right, to hold ourselves in these spaces and to authentically move forward. This takes constant work, right? This webinar is one part of that. This is lifelong work. It isn't something that we're going to get a webinar out of it. It's a continuous navigation through our own selves and our communities and our wellness. And so, again, reflect back on some of the things of what's sticking with you, what's rocking with you. It's really easy. Our system that we all navigate in has a very strong pull. It has a very, very strong pull. And it's a really easy way of getting pulled back into that space, right? And forgetting all the things that you're working your muscles on in remembering. So be vigilant and on that, be able to really reflect back on that. And as we begin to do this, you begin to draw yourself back in to those spaces that maintain your social emotional well-being. And you understand that you're not separate from that landscape, but you're a part of the landscape. We no longer look at each other in divisions or in separations. We look at ourselves as being a part of the whole picture. And we're all working on this whole picture together. We're all contributing to that. So thank you so much. Mahalo nui loa, which means, nui nui, which means really big thanks to all of you for taking all the time that you have to navigate with us and to be in this space with us and really working in your mala, right? Your own gardens to cultivate healthier yous and continuing that work. So thank you so much for everybody who's continued to be here and continues to support our communities. So mahalo.
And I just want to emphasize the importance of each person here, like Leonie and Mackenzie and Matt and Prajakta. This wouldn't have been as meaningful, as powerful as this without your support. And Sister Silan's gift, it's just so powerful to, you know, to have someone who is like her. It's like she is an amazing person. I'm so glad to be in her space and to be able to call her my yang to my yin. Or yin yang. I wouldn't be able to do it without her. She is an amazing person, and I feel blessed to have her as my sister in our community. And so I really, I don't know, but I would like to see you all. I want to see you in person and
A
create
cell
this
party.
community. Yeah, yeah. So thank you so much.
Well, Marissa and Sulan, thank you so much. Matt, if you don't mind moving to the next slide really quick. Mackenzie and I and all of the PESB staff just wanted to say the same thing. And you can see you're getting so many hearts and claps and so much love in the chat. So thank you for, I have grown tremendously through this series. So thank you so much for all that you have shared with us and bringing us your authentic selves. And helping us discover ours as well. So thank you. And we also would really like to thank everyone here, as Marissa and Sulan have. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us, for attending, for engaging, and really for your heart and your passion that you have to care for your students, to care for their families, and to care for your colleagues, and most importantly, to care for yourselves. We are just, I can't say it another way. I've just been so inspired by everyone here, by Sulan and Marissa, by you, but also by everyone in attendance. So thank you all. Yes, we need to find a way to keep this party going. So we'll figure it out.
You know, we like painas, right? That's what we call it, painas, right? Which is like a party gathering, right? When my children were little, they're like, are we going to a paina? Which means, you know, we celebrate things. And I think this deserves, you all deserve celebrations, right? I don't know, maybe that's a thing, right? We gather we gather everybody who's navigated all of these series, and we have a gathering, we have a paina. I think I would like to see that, right?
Yeah,
So
let's
food,
think
I
about
love food.
Yeah,
We'll have to think about that one.
we will. Let's see if we can figure out a way. We could do something
Yeah.
in each, right? One in the Eastern, one in the Western. So, well, thank you all so much. And we do have just a little bit of information left to share with you. We have some great, this has been a wonderful series to help us as educators take care of ourselves and learn about our own social emotional capacity. And we know that that is really the best way that we can help our students in their social emotional learning. But there are also some other great learning opportunities available out there to you. So we did want to share this as well. And Mackenzie will be sending these slides out so you'll have access to all of these. But OSPI has some great SEL modules available, and those are free clock hours as well. Those are self-paced. You can complete them at your own pace. So we did want to let you know about those. And also there are some other webinars coming up on the next slide there. OSPI's SEL Professional Learning Network are offering these upcoming webinars that we wanted to let you know about as well. And free clock hours are available for those. When you get these slides, you can find more information on the link down below. Or you can just go to OSPI's website and in the search bar type in SEL Professional Learning Network, and that will bring you to their webpage. I'm looking forward to these webinars as well. This is kind of taking it from now that you've really been working on your own social emotional capacity and learning. These taking it back into the classroom with some additional strategies here for the first one is for creating inclusive learning environments for students with disabilities. And then they also have webinars for practical strategies for implementing SEL in the elementary level and the secondary level as well. So hope that you can take advantage of those as well. And then Marissa, thank you so much. PGPs are a great opportunity, as Marissa said, to earn an additional 25 clock hours by completing a PGP. We've got the links on the next few slides as well, that has that how-to, and there's just this great easy video about how to complete that. And Marissa, thank you for offering, because even though the video makes it seem easy, it's not. You get in there and you go, oh, what am I supposed to do? So we will share Marissa's time she's available and her contact information in the email that goes out after this webinar. But you can earn, through going through this series and completing a PGP, you can earn up to 38 free clock hours. As educators, most educators, unless you're a para, but other certificated educators need 100 clock hours to renew their certificates. So this will provide quite a bit of that for you as well. So, all right. And Mackenzie, I'm going to turn that over to you.
Thanks. So for clock hours for today's session, to get clock hours, you'll need to enroll through PD Enroller. Project to just put the link in the chat. If you need a claim code you may or may not need a claim code for that registration, but Project to just put that in the chat as well. So to earn clock hours, fill that out, and then your attendance today will count, or if you're viewing a recording of this training, you'll need to watch the recording and also submit the PESB clock hour attestation form by May 31st. So if would you go back? I just wanted to mention that if you are attending today and you joined on someone else's Zoom link, or you're watching with somebody else, please email us with your first and last name and your email address so that we can make sure to record your attendance today. And the last days to submit your registrations through PD Enroller for clock hours is May 31st. So after May 31st, we will not be awarding any more clock hours. Thanks. Okay, so for our series overview today, this little arrow is pointing to today, which is our last session. So that kind of gives you a map of where we've been, and all the recordings and clock hour links you'll need for every session in this series can be found on the SELves series schedule, which we will also put in the chat. If you've missed any webinar sessions and you want to go back and watch them, you are free to go back and watch any of the sessions we've recorded. To earn clock hours for those missed sessions, you'll need to do 3 steps. So you'll need to register through the PD Enroller link for the session. You will need to view the recording and engage with the activities in that recorded session. And then finally, you'll also need to complete and submit the attestation form that certifies that you watched the recording. And when you've completed those 3 things for a past session that you watched the recording for, you will your clock hours will be awarded. So, and again, I just want to reiterate, the last day to complete this is May 31st. If you have additional clock hour questions or need additional assistance, please check the FAQ document. There's tons of information in there about clock hours, about PD Enroller, about e-certification, all sorts of technical questions like that are in that document. So we recommend that you check that document for any questions before reaching out. And then finally, to come back to those PGPs, again, the professional growth plans, we have lots of information about PGPs on the PESB website. So if you go to pesb.wa.gov and then click on current educators and go to professional growth plans, you will see lots of information and how-to videos about doing a PGP for your specific role. And there's sample PGPs and self-assessments and all sorts of PGP information on that website. And then I think finally we'll get to any questions that you have. Please put questions in the Q&A, both questions about the session and social emotional learning, as well as any clock hour type questions you might have as well. And Marisa and Sulan are still with us, so they would be happy, I'm sure, to answer any questions and connect.
Mahalo to all of you again, just, to the PESB community, our support. Couldn't have done this without all of you. And then all of you who took the time to attend the webinars and just navigate with us until we got to our destination, which, it's just a stop, and then we're going to continue this work. So please utilize all the resources that you've been shared and, to continue this work. And like Sister Marissa said too, like, if we see you, please come and look and say, hey, I was in the webinar. It's always nice to share with those. Like when we got to meet with Leonie and Mackenzie them at Chapanish, it was so nice to finally like hug each other and see each other live. So I really appreciate those moments. And that's how we bring humanity back into our spaces, right? So thank you.
Okay, so I'm seeing some questions in the chat. If you have specific questions about whether your clock hours have been posted yet, or if you have specific questions, if you could email either myself or Mackenzie, then we'll be able to research that and then get back to you with answers to your specific questions. So we would appreciate that. And we do ask that it does take up to 30 days for clock hours to be awarded. So just to let you know that as well. So you do not need to enter your clock hours into the system. If you have signed up through PD Enroller, they will be automatically added to your eCert account. But again, it does can take up to 30 days for those to be added. So
I think one thing to note is to double check that your PD Enroller account is attached or connected to your e-certification account at OSPI. Sometimes they're not attached correctly, so you can do that by logging in to PD Enroller and checking your settings.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Yeah. There's a question about the extra webinars available. The ones that we mentioned from OSPI, they are recording those, and we'll be posting those on their OSPI SEL webpage. So you'll be able to access those if you can't attend those live. All right. Well, I hate for this is to end. This has just been so great. So I'm so thankful again to everyone. And I know that Matt and our colleague Jeff are looking at what we're going to be doing for professional learning next year, just to give you a heads up on that as well. And we are going to try to again be, it's been such a difficult time for educators through COVID and everything else. So trying to be doing and providing things that really will just support you without you having to do a lot of work. You can come and learn and kind of like, hopefully in this, you were just able to grow and learn without it requiring a lot of effort, hopefully on your part, besides being here. So, and Sulan and Marissa, again, just thank you so much. You all provided such wonderful support for all of us. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.